Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. IDP, am I good to start or?
Hold on. Yeah, let me check. All right, we have 3 participants. All right, I think we are good to go. So, welcome to IDP Study Abroad Open Day. We have with us Miss Sumitra Durai from University of Bristol. She's the program manager. Yeah,
Mhm.
and to present the topic on hold on, studying computer science. All right, I think let's welcome Miss Sumitra Durai. You may take it away.
Thanks, Shima. Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending today's talk. As Shima said, my name is Sumitra. You can call me Sumi, and I work at the University of Bristol in our regional Southeast Asia office in KL. So today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about computer science, and I'll be covering the following bits of information. So what is computer science? For those of you who are contemplating different computer science related fields, computer science at Bristol. So what we offer and just general information about the courses and life as a computer science student. And lastly, I'll cover a bit of information about whether computer science is right for you. I'm guessing some of you here today might be prospective undergraduate students, or bachelor degree students, who are considering a future in computer science. And hopefully this talk will give you a brief overview of what to expect and what you can do now to prepare. So first, what is computer science? I'll just cover this really quickly because it's such a big question. I guess the main point that I want to stress today is that there are lots of differences in different fields aligned with computer science. So computer science on its own is the study of how computers perform theoretical and mathematical jobs. So examples of computer scientists or the types of work that computer scientists cover, or the areas that they cover, are artificial intelligence, machine learning, so teaching machines how to automatically perform certain tasks, cybersecurity, so creating security systems that protect your data and other elements of programs, data science to help people manage large numbers of data and how to sift through large amounts of data as well. So computer scientists do a very large scale sort of, they look at the bigger picture. They can design entire systems, and they're the people who would, for example, be able to figure out how to make a robot read predictive text, because they're the ones who can write all that code in order to make the robot fulfill the function. You may have also heard of software engineers. So software engineering is actually quite a different stream it's a different type of degree and a different type of career. Software engineers build software, they build applications, they build programs. So for example, if your school has an inbuilt system to let your parents know how, I don't know, your grades are going, your attendance is going, stuff like that, a software engineer would have designed a program for your school. Another good example is Wordle. If you are playing that, the guy who made it is a software engineer. So he builds this app using existing knowledge and existing infrastructure to create something new. So there isn't much, software engineering there will be some maths in software engineering, but definitely not as much as you would find in computer science. And lastly, a lot of people use, especially non-computer scientists, will use the term IT to refer to anything that's to do with computers, but IT professionals actually work on something quite different. So they work on the installation, development, and implementation of computer systems. So you'll find IT professionals in most companies, so like at the bank or at a university, at IDP. And these are people usually who maintain systems that are being used in an organization. So you can see that the functions that are fulfilled by different specialists vary a lot. The main thing to know about computer science is that it is the most mathematical by far of any of these other fields. So in order to do computer science, most of the time you'll be required to have a large background in maths. So that could be A-level maths or IB, HL maths. And most of the time, if you're applying to a top university, you'll have to have a really good grade in that math subject that you do. A lot of students are drawn to computer science at present because it's such a booming field. You'll see lots of high-paying jobs being advertised for fresh grads or people with no experience in fields aligned to computer science. So people do tend to think that computer science, because it's more mathematical, has more prestige attached to it, but don't fall for that, because most students who graduate with any of these qualifications will be able to find pretty good jobs in today's market. That being said, the most important thing to make sure you understand for yourself is the difference between these different streams of computing, so that you know which one it is that you're really interested in and which one is right for you. Another thing to know if you're choosing to go down this path is that computing changes constantly, and never more so than in the last 2 decades. So you should expect that you will continue to learn forever if you go down this line of work, which can be quite fun, never boring, I guess. So I hope this gives you a quick overview, particularly for those of you who aren't familiar with computer science, of what computer science is. So now I'll move on to what computer science is at Bristol, what courses we offer and what you can do at Bristol related to computer science. So we've got a range of degrees at Bristol. If you are looking for a bachelor's degree, we offer undergraduate BScs, which take 3 years, or 4-year MEng, Master of Engineering, courses in computer science of electronics, maths and computer science with innovation. So these degrees are similar for the first 2 years of the course, and you can choose to switch between the BSc or the MEng within the first 2 years. If you do have any specific questions that you'd like to ask about a particular course, please feel free to post them in the chat, and I will respond to you at the end of this talk. We also offer a range of 1-year master's degrees. So these are the master's degrees that we offer. Most of them ask students to come from an engineering or computer science background, except for the MSc in digital health, which can take in students from either an engineering or computer science background or a health or life science background. And our MSc computer science conversion is for students who have not done a bachelor's degree related to computer science, who want to change their profession basically and enter the computer science field. So we've got students who come from law, business, arts backgrounds who do this computer science conversion course. The cost of studying in Bristol varies depending on what you're choosing to do. So all of our undergraduate tuition fees are the same for computer science-based degrees. So that's about £25,900 per year for the 2022 intake. Postgraduate tuition fees range depending on the course that you go for. So this is the range of fee that you'd be expecting to pay. It's a 1-year tuition fee, so it covers the whole cost. And in addition to that, you'd have to budget for cost of living. So in Bristol, it costs you about £1,000 a month for general expenses. We do offer some scholarships valued between £5,000 all the way up to £20,000. And it depends on the course that you're applying for. If you've got more questions about scholarships, please feel free to post them in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer them at the end of this. So what makes Bristol special for computer science, and what should you look for actually in a computer science degree? There are lots of things that you should look for, but this is what Bristol offers, and hopefully it's of interest to some of you. So one thing you can expect from most Russell Group universities is to have research embedded in your undergraduate or postgraduate course. And at Bristol, it's no different. So we've got 11 world-leading research centers related to computer science. And that's stuff to do with like cryptology and cybersecurity, robotics, lots of different fields, many of which have got lots and lots of funding from the public and private sector in the UK and internationally as well. So what that means for you is that you've got really well-equipped facilities that are open to students at the university. You can also expect a very interdisciplinary experience, I guess, in your course, because the Department of Computer Science does collaborate with other faculties, and some of these are really cool. So, I mean, I think with neuroscience, they're doing stuff about brain imaging. With nanoscience, I don't really know what they're doing, but it's all very, very small. So you'll be able to be exposed to other fields as well. It's not just going to be computing that you learn about. And if you're keen to do research with other departments, a lot of the time there's existing research that goes on with other departments at Bristol. So the benefit of funding is first, as I said, well-maintained and extensive facilities. But the second thing is that you'll have access to really cool research programs that are going on that are current, solving current problems in computer science and other associated fields. You'll also have access then to these private and public groups that are funding us. So that might be Hewlett-Packard wanting our students and our staff to test out some kind of chip or something. It could be really any organization that tasks the university with the certain project. And lastly, if you're an undergraduate student, one of the nicest things I think about studying in the UK is that you all do a final year research project. This can be something written, this can be something you build, like a project, but this is a project that you initiate, that you carry out, that you complete. So this is really your opportunity to discover something that could be like important enough that you get published, or it could just be something that you're personally interested in that then like exposes you to that field and hopefully assists you with your applications for employment later on. So research is a big part of any degree at Bristol, but it's not all book learning. There will also be opportunities for you to engage with industry. So the Faculty of Engineering at Bristol has an industrial liaison office, and they do a lot of different things. So all first year students in the faculty will be given, will be assigned industrial mentors. So you and a group of other first years will work with somebody who is currently who's working in the computer science profession in the UK, and you'll be able to ask them questions about what they do every day, how did they get their job, all sorts of insightful questions that can give you ideas about what you can do in your time at university. The Industrial Liaison Office also helps students source internships, and that can be through like with major companies that are based in Bristol or outside of Bristol as well. We've got really good links with firms throughout the UK. Bristol is currently the third most targeted university by top firms in the UK. So companies that are based in London, that are based in Manchester, come to Bristol to recruit our students as well. And they can also help you, the Industrial Liaison Office, find employment, graduate employment. So in the final year, they'll be able to support you with your job applications, particularly to some of the bigger companies in the UK. But apart from just being exposed to industry, you will be able to do projects with real world clients in years 2 and 3. So some of the units that we offer actually have projects that are delivered to the university from real life clients. So that will allow you to actually get some practical experience or learn how to apply what you're learning in course to the real world, which is quite cool. And lastly, Bristol is a digitech city in the UK. So there's lots of tech companies based there, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But yeah, that you can walk out of the door basically and find companies that you might want to work with. Lastly, and very excitingly, Bristol is an innovation hub in the UK as well. So it's home to the #1 university business incubator called Z², and lots of our students across the university, so not just from computer science, but from different faculties as well, look at the possibility of creating something while they're at university. So that can be an app. Like I think one of the cool ones for computer science was a student who started Snap Fashion, it's an app that does a reverse image search on clothes. So you can take a picture of an outfit and then the algorithm finds that outfit on the internet somewhere. So you can figure out where to buy it from. So yeah, there's lots of different types of things you can do within your degree that enhance your learning both inside and outside of the classroom. Inside of the classroom, though, what you can expect is about 20 to 30 hours per week of teaching. You'll be taught via lectures, which are large groups, so you and maybe 200 other people receiving material, tutorials, which are smaller groups, so that might be up to about 12 or 15 people, kind of digesting the material and analyzing the material and discussing the material you learn in your lectures. You'll have labs as well, which is where you actually get to practice the things you've learned on the screen, on the computers. For computer science at Bristol, one really unique thing that we don't really offer for all of our other courses is that final year students can actually choose how they prefer to be assessed, because for most of the units that we offer, you've got the option of doing an exam-based unit where you'll be assessed entirely by exams, or a coursework-based unit if you're more interested in developing something where you'll be assessed entirely by your coursework. So that's quite cool. Learning doesn't just happen in the classroom, as we've seen from the previous slide. The Students' Union has got lots of tech-based societies that are really useful for students to network and to meet employers and to develop skills and to build things together. So related to computer science, we've got societies related to data science. There's a Challenge, which I think is for engineering solutions, engineering consulting. Computer Science Society, Gaming Society, Innovation Design, RoboGals for girls in computer science. There's a lot of stuff to support women in STEM at Bristol because, yeah, there's a lot of stuff about inclusivity in many of our classes and societies as well. Outside of the course, there are over 300 courses related to all sorts of things, from sports to music to interest groups. So there's lots of ways that you can use your computer science skills outside of immediately using them for jobs and things. And yeah, Bristol's a great place to practice your skills, in large part because the city itself is a place that embraces technology. So in 2018, we were ranked the smartest city in the world. We beat Singapore, actually, which is, I mean, a big thing. And this is because I think at that time, they were the first UK university to start developing infrastructure for 5G in the UK. So there's lots of different accolades Bristol has received for like all sorts of things, but related to technology. It is a tech hub that is growing very fast. And I think this is in large part because of the growth of companies based in the Bristol area. So we're really highly ranked in the UK and in Europe for investment as well. We receive investment from all over, really, not just the UK, but internationally. And it's also a great city for startups. And that, again, relates to computer scientists, because a lot of you who want to be your own boss would look at the startup economy for that, right? And you can do that right from your degree. Lastly, Bristol is also a great place to live. I'm not going to talk about that too much because I think I'm running out of time, but it is a really nice place to live. You'll find lots of friends and people from all over the world, from Singapore, from your course, not from your course. And it's a really nice place to spend a full 3 years in, because every year is slightly different, but it's also a bit familiar. So you'll find a home away from home. So is computer science for you? The first thing to ask yourself is, do you meet the requirements for it? So here you can see the entry requirements for different A-levels programs, IB programs, and this is for undergraduate courses. For postgraduate courses, the CGPAs we accept from Singaporean universities are listed here, although it may vary depending on the course that you're applying for. So you can ask me about specific requirements for your course at the end of this. And Singaporeans also need to meet our language requirements. Most undergraduate students will meet them with their high school qualifications. And university students who have graduated from a Singaporean institution typically don't need to take an English test. You just need to send us your degree, and we'll know that it was taught in English. And lastly, what should you think about when you're considering taking up a computer science degree, which could potentially lead to a career in computer science? First of all, ask yourself honestly, are you interested in the field, and are you good at subjects that are aligned with the field? So are you good at maths? Really important, because if you're not good at maths, you will struggle in computer science. And if you don't like maths, then consider software engineering or IT, which are less maths intensive. Are you interested in technology? You definitely don't want to be the sort of person who like looks at a phone and just uses like 5 apps on it. You want to be the sort of person who's very comfortable handling technology, which leads me to skills. So there's one, you don't need to be the sort of person who can fix everything, because you're not going to be an electronic engineer unless you do computer science and electronics, but you do need to not be intimidated by things like programming, coding, and just sort of general use and consumption of devices. So think about whether you have these skills, whether you can easily develop these skills, and try and get exposed to the field. So the next thing is exposure. Try and do online courses, especially to see what really you would learn in computer science, especially if you're not taking computing at school. So you just get a sense of what the course is actually about. It's also a good idea to get work experience if you can, related to the field. So it could just be assisting somebody who's a computer scientist, shadowing somebody who's a computer scientist, interning for somebody who does something related to computer science, entering competitions, joining societies that are relevant. This is all to help you really get some sort of realistic exposure, so you know the reality of the field, not just the, you know, we make a lot of money, that kind of thing. Supercurriculars is such a buzzword now for top universities. Supercurriculars basically are you being able to display your interest beyond the curriculum, beyond what's necessary for school. So it could be that, you know, in school you're learning basic programming and you take it to the next level and you figure out how to build an app or build something computery. So supercurriculars are a great way to evidence to top universities that you're really serious and passionate about the field. And also it's good for us to be able to see that you know what you want out of the field. So for example, if you're taking computer science because you want to get into robotics, tell us about that and tell us about what you've done related to robotics already. And that would be counted as, you know, further reading, further exposure to a field, the field of computer science. So that was quite a fast whistle-stop tour. What else can you do from now on? Go through university websites, particularly if you're thinking of applying to those universities. There's lots of useful information on there about admissions and what the universities are looking for and their research areas. So you know, you can figure out which university is right for you and whether their computer science course is right for you. Do some online courses. There's so many that are available now. It's a great way to get yourself in the zone and really, expose yourself to the field. And lastly, very importantly, don't be shy to talk to people. You'll be forced to talk to people a lot when you're in university. So talk to computer scientists now, talk to your teachers, talk to your counselors at IDP. And all of these people have different perspectives and opinions that may or may not be helpful, but it'll be, you'll be able to gain something just from their knowledge usually. So yeah, go for it. So I hope you've been able to catch everything I've said. I feel like I've been speaking very fast. So if you have any other questions, feel free to get in touch with myself at the Southeast Asia office of Bristol. We also have lots of links and resources for Southeast Asian students. So you can visit this link tree or scan this QR code. And that's it from me. I'm over. Done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sumitra. All right, so thank you for the insightful sharing. I think we have two questions in the Q&A section. First one, does the final year project apply to both bachelor's and master's?
Thank you for asking that question. So yes, if you're doing a 3-year BSc or a 4-year MEng, both are undergraduate courses, in your final year, you will have a research project. I think in your 3rd year, if you're doing the 3-year course, your final year will have an individual project. If you're doing the 4-year course, have a group project in your 3rd year and an individual project in your final year. If you're doing the master's degree, so that's a postgraduate master's degree, there's a dissertation that you will do kind of throughout the year. So yeah, you will do it for all the courses that we offer.
All right, and the next one would be, are there any entry requirements for polytechnic students, or will I have to take the A-level math paper privately?
So for poly students, it can be a bit challenging to get into our course. It really depends on what your diploma is in. So generally, we would ask poly students to achieve a CGPA of 3.5, and then we would look at your diploma transcript to see if you have the equivalent of A-level maths. Usually, it's only students who have engineering maths in their diploma, so typically engineering students, and they need to get A's in engineering maths 1, 2, and 3. So if you don't have the requisite maths, you may either not be able to get an offer, or you may be asked to take a maths qualification like A-levels or AP Calculus or something else.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, if you guys have any more questions, you guys can head on to the lounge, and then you can search for University of Bristol, and then you can chat with Ms. Zurai if you have any more questions, yeah? Also, we have our next session at 2:30 p.m. So you guys can head out. Thank you so much, Ms. Sumitra.
Thanks, Shima. Nice bicycle.
Thanks.